Need a reason to start your Red Dead addiction again? Well, guess what, Red Dead Fiend? I got more than 20 new things players have found while traversing this beautiful game. No time to waste, we got a lot to go over. First thing I want to talk about is the warden of the Sisika Penitentiary, HESTON Jameson. In case you're unfamiliar with who that was, you have an opportunity to meet him during the mayor's party where he can be seen talking to Dutch and the Confederate Major Hobart Crawley. Which also, if you didn't know, is who the statue in the middle of Rhodes is made in honor of. Later on at the beginning of chapter 6, Arthur lands on the prison's island with Sadie to bust John out after his capture in the beginning of the Saint Denis bank robbery. I do not care what anyone says. The next sequence in this mission with Milliken is one of the funniest moments in the entire story. Depending on if you met Heston during the party, the dialogue will change when Arthur walks Milliken to the gates.
Who's in charge of this fine establishment?
Jameson, sir.
Jameson who?
No, Mr. Jameson. Heston Jameson.
Is he a nice fella?
He's been quite an exacting boss at times.
I look forward to meeting him. Who's in charge of this fine establishment?
Mr. Jameson? Sir?
Jameson? Heston Jameson?
Yes. Not his brother Archibald. He owns the mine up in Harrisburg.
My God, what a family.
Yes. He's been quite an exacting boss at times.
I'm sure.
What's interesting about the warden is that he somehow becomes wanted in the epilogue and has a bounty of $200. I assume he would have been a bounty target for John to hunt down, which would have actually been incredible to see since John served time under him. Unfortunately, for whatever stupid reason, Rockstar decided to cut this from the final game, like they've done with all the other cool shit they've had cut. Next thing I want to point out has been right in front of our faces for years. In fact, it's every time we play the game. Take a closer look at how Arthur, or John for that matter, walks. Specifically how they swing their arms. You'll notice a clear pattern with the left, or non-dominant arm, swinging a lot more freely than the right, which is tucked in closer to their sides. There's actually a real reason for this. A trained gunman will keep a stride that allows for quick access to their weapon if they need to draw it at a moment's notice. I'm just full of shit, I don't know, supposedly this is why they do it. This is what's typically referred to as a gunslinger's gait. While on the subject of weapons, did you know that each time you go to purchase a new gun at the gunsmiths, he will actually give you a short sales pitch before you buy it? Make sure to only view the weapon. Do not purchase it straight away or you'll miss the chance to hear these unique lines they have when selling the player new firearms. Also, if it's a gun you already own, chances are you won't be able to trigger this.
This here's a real fine piece of craft. She's got a kick on her, no doubt, but that's because she's spitting them out like hot stink. Weight's a little forward, but that's how I like it myself.
You ever own a German-made gun? They can't cook, but they make good guns. Mauser's a fun one to shoot. 10 rounds, self-loading, real solid.
I suppose you could say this is Litchfield's big brother. Holds a couple fewer rounds, actually, but everything else is better. Lovely fast action, quicker on the reload, powerful, accurate. This would take you a long way.
This here's the Springfield. Got a real pedigree. My pa taught me to shoot on this one. Take a young boy's shoulder clean out, let me tell you.
You get 6 shots for 6 kills with this beauty. That's a fine, fine weapon right there. You can shoot the hairs off a jackrabbit's ass from a mile away with this. Fine, fine accuracy. I'm sure she'll turn into a long-time favorite around here.
It's fancy, I'll give it that. See, the recoil cycles the next shell automatically. Don't need to pull any levers or pumps. I prefer a pump action myself, but I'm funny that way.
Hidden away underneath one of the supports for BACCHUS Bridge is a heart etched into the wood. Everybody loves to hate Micah, even his own brother, and that's a fact, Jack. But why? If anyone spent enough time listening to Camp's stories, then you'll at some point have heard Micah talk about his brother along with their father.
My, oh my, ain't life grand. Well, it is. Trust me on that one, it is. Old Micah Bell told me. That was my daddy. Micah Bell, like his daddy too. Pair of wild horses they was. Father and son. And then me. At one point, my daddy was wanted for murder in 5 counties. 5! Never did suffer fools. Damn near killed my brother one time. But my brother always was a fool. And a coward. Yellow as pissed on snow. Never could stand him. Nor his wife. Lives over in California. By the sea. Pathetic. What kind of a man lives by the sea, I ask you? Hmm? Huh? Huh? Kind of man that gets told where to live by his wife.
The three of them together were a deadly trio of outlaws before Micah joined Dutch's gang. Somewhere down the line, Micah's brother Amos left the Bell Boys gang and started a family after repenting for his crimes. We learned this through a letter he wrote, assumingly in response to Micah contacting him to meet up or asking for his help. The thing here that I never realized is that Micah more than likely wrote Amos while he was in jail. Being the slimeball he is, I'd wager he was asking his brother for help to get out of jail, starting up their little posse of assholes again. Micah never does anything without thinking of himself first. So if he was already out of jail when he wrote the letter, then maybe he needed Amos's help in bringing Dutch that peace offering to allow him back into the camp, or to recruit a new member for Dutch's gang. Whatever the case may be, one thing's for sure, Amos ain't got no time for that. That explains why Micah always speaks so harshly of his brother in the hidden camp encounters.
I'm kinda happy we ain't heading west no more.
Only for now we ain't.
The further away I am from my brother Amos in California, the better. That bastard.
I would love to meet this man.
Imagine a spineless version of me.
Oh, you're twin then.
Looks like Amos made the right call on that one. He got his own little redemption story. Amos Bell for the Red Dead Redemption 3 protagonist. Make it happen, Rockstar. I don't care who you are or what your humor's like, the Valentine Saloon shenanigans with Lenny will never not be hilarious. How can you ever go wrong with foolish drunken antics? There's a couple of hidden secrets and outcomes for this mission. Permanently traumatizing Arthur, drowning the alcoholic, ramming yourself into the support pillars, or making it out of the town, just to name a few. But something really crazy I've recently found is if you have your Arthur overweight, his animation in the line dance scene will change. Depending if you have Fat Boy Arthur in your playthroughs, you'll notice a lot of differences in dialogues and cutscenes. I'll make a separate video about that later on, showcasing all of those moments. My favorite area on Red Dead 2's map is an extremely underrated location, hidden away in the beautiful East Grizzlies. The watchtower among the rolling fields of flowers here houses an abandoned military outpost. If you climb up to the top, you'll see a pair of binoculars facing northwest. If you look in the exact direction they're pointed, it leads you to the Giant's Cave. It's unclear if there's anything more to this, or if it's just cut content. Maybe there was some trigger to see the giant emerging from his cave. If you have any idea what's supposed to happen here, you can let me know in the comments. In one of my recent videos, I explained the mystery of the giant skulls in a cave inside Mount Shan. If you haven't already seen that, there's a link. A link? Oh my gosh, what am I spending too much time in this fucking hillbilly town? There's a link in the description. The one thing most players may never catch even a glimpse of while inside this cave is the huge, bloody handprint. It's more than twice the size of Arthur's. In the aforementioned video, I talked about the connection between this and the giant skeleton on top of the same mountain. Watch that video to find out more. The latest buzz making the rounds in the Red Dead world recently are the newly discovered Spiderwebs mystery, aptly named the Spiderdream. I spoke about this a bit in a video not long ago, sharing all the newest hints and clues found by the Red Dead fiends as we grow ever so closer to the solution to this mystery. Some people are calling it now that this is cut content, and I must admit, I have my doubts about the outcome as well. But deep down, I know this guides us to something. All the signs are pointing to it, and it very well may be something we've already figured out. However, the only thing still giving me a small glimmer of hope is the ominous message that's left by Madame Nazaire.
I see a web, still tangled after years of unraveling. Will you be the one?
This tells me Rockstar is letting us know we haven't solved it yet. Who knows? It's just nice to see everyone getting involved with Red Dead again. If you have any insight or updates regarding the answer to this puzzle, please enlighten all of us in the comments. If you haven't heard of the Spiderdream mystery yet, you can watch my latest video in the link below, or keep up with the Red Dead mystery subreddit. Anyway, happy hunting, freaks! I'm curious if anyone ever drops in every once in a while to visit Mr. Pearson in his store during the epilogue. Pearson deserved the good ending, but if you visited when his wife is around, you'll realize he got the worst.
Have you tidied those shelves?
Yes, dear.
Pearson surely didn't have a lack of suitors, so why in the hell would he settle for a horrendous nagging bitch like Ethel?
This coffee is as bitter as wormwood!
Maybe she's got a hurricane of a mouth or something. I guess you can't really blame her, but I still think she's an annoying shrew.
Is that him again? What does he want now?
Him?
During one of John's trips to Pearson's shop, he mentions he was previously married to a woman named Michele.
You know, before her, I was married briefly to a lady called Michele, but she was an absolute nightmare.
Seems you've landed on your feet this time.
What I didn't know is that this is possibly a reference to an actress that worked on Red Dead Redemption 2 whose name is also Michele Pearson. She provided voice lines for various NPCs in the game, as well as many other Rockstar classics like Grand Theft Auto 5 and LA Noire. In my experience, this is the rarest companion mission in the game. I always tend to miss it in my playthroughs for some odd reason. Chapter 4 provides us with a lot of the story's most memorable missions, and this wacky cattle rustling activity with Uncle has plenty of hilarious moments. Each time I've played this mission, I always get spotted by the other stooges attempting to steal the cattle before we do. What I never noticed is that there are actually 3 possible outcomes for dealing with them. If you choose to just sit there and observe, they'll eventually open up the gate, which will alert old Squeers.
Yes, I got it. There, all good.
We'll get the gate open.
Okay. Come on.
Second option is you can shoot them, as we all know, and the third and final option I had no idea about was to approach them while aiming a gun. This will trigger a scene where Arthur can intimidate the rustlers without the need for bloodshed.
Wrong. Shit. Put your hands up in the air. What are you doing, boys?
Nothing.
You know, we kill rustlers around these parts. Well, now, just wait. I'll give you till the count of 5 to get the hell out of here. 1, 2,
Let's go.
3, 4.
Whoa! No good, cocksucker.
Lastly, while we're here talking about this mission, if you sneak into the house before Squeers wakes up, you can take him by surprise and knock the CARCANO rifle out of his hands, allowing you to obtain it 2 chapters early. Exactly due west of Owenjila Lake are the set of near perfectly preserved whale bones. You might be wondering, how in the hell is there a whale skeleton in the middle of a mountain range? Wormholes, that's how, man. Millions upon millions of years ago, there was a large, receding shallow sea in far western states in America, like California for instance, which serves as the inspiration for the Tall Trees region and surrounding landscape of Red Dead 2's map. After many eons, tectonic activity raises the surface of the earth, which allow us to find sea creatures atop mountains in real life. This is referenced in the mission with Deborah. I recently talked about this and other secret or hidden fossils you can find in Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as other paleontological Easter eggs you might have missed. Of course, if you want to check that video out, you don't gotta look any further than the description of this video, boy or girl. These whale bones might not be a secret to most, as it's pretty well known by now to a true Red Dead veteran, but what I for sure didn't know was that this Easter egg is likely a reference to the discovery made in the Santa Cruz Mountains, the site where scientists uncovered the remains of a species of ancient whale. As for what the whale in the game is, I have no idea. I've read some comments that claim these bones belong to a blue whale or an ancestor of the whale called Herpecetus. I don't know why it's called that. I guess the ocean was more of a jungle back then for these freaky ass whales. If you have any other suggestions into identifying this, you can drop that knowledge in the comments, amigo. This thing on the list of things I never noticed takes place in Guarma, the game's worst chapter. If you like to regularly check your Arthur's health status in the pause menu, you'll notice how to keep track of his weight and other physical well-being stats. Even if you're bitten by a snake, your status will show as being poison. What I never saw before was if you check it during Chapter 5, it will portray Arthur as unwell, which is clear to see by his bloodshot eyes, sudden weight loss, and frequent coughing fits. The next thing isn't mind-blowing, but it is a nice little attention to detail that I can appreciate. Everyone's favorite little wife tapper is none other than Mr. Charles Chataney. Well, for me, he's not my favorite anything. I can't stand this little rodent. That's not to say he doesn't gift us with some of the game's most hilarious moments. What I'd like to point out is if you take a closer look at his clothes, you'll notice all the paint stains, which would make sense, him being an artist and all. Like I said, nothing mind-blowing, but definitely something that would have been overlooked if it were any other studio. So I really like how much it adds to his character, of being a dirty, careless French pig.
You French pig!
Okay, so this next one technically isn't Red Dead Redemption 2. It's an Undead Nightmare. Nevertheless, I found it interesting and thought it'd be worth sharing. When John Marston resurrects out of the grave into his new badass zombie form, he carries on with a weird sideways lean with extended bent arms. This horrendous posture is most likely influenced by his death stance after being shredded by the United States Army. The big white hats you can find or craft for Arthur are the best in my opinion. The Legend of the West and the Iguana Big Valley hats are the two top tier options that you should always carry on your saddle. Something I had never noticed before about the Iguana Big Valley hat are the heads to shotgun shells around the band. Pretty crazy, but absolutely badass. I'd really love to have a design like this in real life. MARY-BETH Gaskill, or as many refer to as MARY-BETH Gatskill, is a highly sought after asset to the camp. Micah, Dutch, and even Arthur have a go at her in some way or another, and who could blame them? Aside from those massive computer generated cheeks, she keeps a notebook near camp that she writes in. Something Arthur can appreciate, which explains why we can bring her a new fountain pen as part of a companion request. It's often mentioned that she wanted to pursue a career as a writer, which she actually ends up fulfilling by the end of the story. What I didn't know was that if you check her notebook frequently, she will update it with new stories as the game progresses. It's honestly incredible how many of these things you can find at camp. Too many for me to talk about in this video, so stay on the lookout for a video some other time in the near future where I'll show all of the new secrets that you can find at camp. The animal behaviors in this game were revolutionary. Some had never been seen before and haven't been seen since. I can only imagine how it's going to look in GTA 6. Animals fight over carcasses, and horses' balls will shrink, and many, many more. The details just keep getting crazier as I've now found two behaviors that were completely new to me. One is how foxes and coyotes will approach you if you're carrying a dead animal carcass. They'll keep aggressively following you but won't actually do any harm. They just desperately want to get that meat. Second is how wolves will chase their prey into a body of water and swim after it. Something that's actually been observed in the wild. It may be a hard thought to accept or even comprehend for a Rockstar protagonist to have any sort of religious affiliation. But would you believe it if I told you John Marston believed in God?
I was 11, first time I shot a man. His fault, but then we all think that all the time. I thought God himself would come down and take vengeance on me for what I had done, but that ain't happened yet. Sometimes I wish it would.
By no stretch of the imagination is John Marston a Christian, but he does seem to have an acceptance that there is a God and there will be a judgment.
Right now, this is it. Ain't never gonna see my son grow up. Ain't never gonna atone for my sins. Ain't never nothing but gonna get shot for them. I hope God can forgive me for what I've done on this earth, because ain't much I'm proud of. A whole lot I hope he's forgotten about.
The Vanderlyn gang isn't exactly the typical Christian household. However, there are instances where Dutch is seen quoting or referencing stories from the Bible, like Cain and Abel, indicating maybe he used religion in the farce to recruit his band of thieves by teaching them the Bible mixed with his own twisted principles.
His name is Cain.
Okay. Hey, Cain. What did Cain do?
A real bad thing. So he never stopped wandering.
Arthur, on the other hand, is a very self-aware man. He knows he's a bad dude, and he gets whatever's coming to him. He even explicitly reveals to not be religious, even just a tiny bit, to the very woman that I believe helped him come to accept it after all. When you think of Arthur Morgan, immediately what weapon of choice do you imagine him carrying? A handgun or a long rifle? He's known as a gunslinger with deadly accuracy. His draw speed may not be as quick as John's, but he's still great with a sidearm. He's not necessarily a gunslinger though, at least not by my preference. I believe he's more of a marksman, more of a rifleman. Evidence for this is by all the promotional art of Arthur holding a rifle. Everyone knows Arthur is best with a rifle also. Micah.
There you go, Arthur. From me to you. That's more your style than mine.
Javier.
Arthur, here.
Even Dutch.
Don't forget to grab that rifle from your horse.
I wish we could have had a gun similar to the one Chuck Connors used in the old Rifleman shows. If anyone knows what kind of repeater this is, let me know in the comments. Who would have thought we'd see Arthur simp for a lady of the night? This hidden interaction at Doyle's Tavern sure surprised the hell out of me when I first saw it. I should have known something was up, given that the most Arthur can do with the Snake Wranglers is reject them.
I don't like you.
Don't you? Oh, eat my ass. Shit for brains.
A game about redemption has no place for adultery. After the ambush, you'd expect this encounter to be over, or at least that's what I thought, until now. It never occurred to me to just walk right back into the bar to get the bartender's reaction to what happened.
This country.
I knew Daisy had a temper, but that looks something special. Well, guess it's nothing a drink can't fix. Next one's on me, feller. Offer's still good, friend. The good stuff, too.
Thanks.
And there you go. That'll set you right, no doubt.
You want to know what's even more surprising than watching Arthur try to take an offer from a hooker? Watching John try to do it. I guess both Arthur and John wanted to try some darker meat. You know what they say, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Good girl. That's him,
Ain't
all right.
nothing personal. You shouldn't have come back to Saint-Denis.
After what you did to Bronte, you got a whole lot of nerve showing up around here.
We're gonna deal with you? Then the rest of you, cowpoker.
Good girl. That's him, all right.
Ain't nothing personal. You shouldn't have come back to Saint-Denis.
After what you pulled at the fight, you got a whole lot of nerve showing up around here.
well,
We gonna deal with you?
They love me in Saint-Denis.
Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. If you did like it, remember, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap notifications to get alerted each time I upload a Red Dead video like this one and más. Adios, homies.
Make it quick or I might run off again.